You're listening to the 808s and Joysticks podcast, now available on iTunes, Spotify, TuneIn Radio, and iHeartRadio. Just before this episode was due for release, we heard the tragic news that Stan Lee has passed away. We would like to dedicate this episode to Stan and thank him for everything he did for the entertainment industry and the comic book industry. We wouldn't be here without you, so for everyone at 808s and Joysticks, thank you for everything.
Welcome to episode 19 of 808s and Joysticks, the show that bridges the gap between games, music, seasoned with pop culture. I'm Tyrell, and joining me today, as always, is Tom.
So once again, I just want to thank Podbean for the reaction we had last week to being featured. We've had a lot of great response. Our stats are sort of going through the roof at the moment, and we just felt that at the start of this episode would be a great time to say a big thank you to all those people. If you're new and you're a listener, if you're an old listener, and maybe you've just found us on Instagram or something as well, we just want to say a big thank you for following us, for listening, for enjoying it, and we hope that you continue in the future as well. Do you have anything more to say on that?
Yeah, I'm really grateful for Podbean to give us such a platform. We've seen a tremendous growth in listeners, and yeah, as always, thank you to everyone who's listening out there, all over the world. It's not just England. It's really nice to see that we have so many different fans, and yeah, as always, 808s and Joysticks, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, we're on everything. Thanks for the support.
So we're just going to get in, and obviously if you've been following gaming news this week, you'll know that BlizzCon was, shall we say, I don't know how to explain it, a failure for Blizzard and Activision. If you're a big Diablo fan, obviously, I'm going to guess you'll know about this. So basically, Blizzard announced that they're going to be releasing a new Diablo game called Diablo Immortal on mobile devices only. And it's basically a reskin of a Chinese game by a Chinese company. And they got booed at their own conference. BlizzCon is a conference hosted by Blizzard themselves, and for your fans to boo you at your own conference just for your game studio, it's quite an impressive feat to achieve, but at the same time, that means that it's a terrible thing to happen because these people are only there for one thing, for your games, and you've disappointed them. Yongye did a little bit of a rundown of certain things, and I've looked into the stats as well and stuff, and I've been following it quite closely. And we've seen that I think Activision lost 7% after the announcement of Diablo Immortal in their stocks. Activision Blizzard then lost a further 13% when they announced decreases in player bases for Destiny and all the other games that they've got, such as World of Warcraft, and that then plummeted their stocks by a further 13%. So in total, they've lost more than 20% of stock and dropped in value on the stock market as a company around £10 billion in the last week, which is phenomenal for a company to achieve that just from a few sort of badly timed things that happen. But I understand they want to go into mobile gaming, but the way they handled this whole situation, the fact that they come out and said that all their main devs have now gone on to do mobile gaming for them, it doesn't fill the people that you're wanting to buy your games with a lot of confidence. And they really have not paid any attention to the fans throughout this.
Sorry, Tom, I just want to just interject. What I've noticed as well is like they're saying that they're going to create mobile titles across all of our IPs. This is just leading to, because remember, let's not forget that it's not just Blizzard, you know. Remember, it's Blizzard Activision. So we all know what's going on here. It's a lot of money. Activision being one of the worst companies of all time for that. And with the whole Call of Duty and how they just literally rinsed that. They've literally rinsed it to a point where it's just, you know what you're going to get every year with Call of Duty now. Like, yeah, there might be a bit of a variation, but are we starting to see a little bit of Activision rubbing off on Blizzard? Or has Blizzard always been this seedy? Like, this is the only first time I'm starting to see some real like problems happening with Blizzard. And you know, I've always seen that people were happy with their games, but as it's come up to the Overwatch era and the loot box era, I'm starting to see their fans starting to get a little bit less like, you know, happy with Blizzard. Like Blizzard used to be that, you know, that crazy company that like always like supported their fans and like was such a great company and, you know, had all these great games, and you know, they used to go on for years and they supported them constantly with like expansion packs and stuff like that. For them to actually be working on mobile titles rather than desktop games, is that a little bit of like, you know, in the direction of they're gonna just start focusing on these rather than and leaving World of Warcraft and Overwatch and StarCraft and their other PC titles to just be self-sufficient? Like we're never ever gonna see new versions of those games per se.
Well, there was a big rumor. I don't know if you saw the big rumor that Diablo 4 was meant to be announced at BlizzCon and was cancelled before.
Yeah, I did see that. Apparently, it was intended to be shown during the keynote, but for whatever reason, like, just wasn't shown. But Blizzard are like that, though. Like, the amount of time, like people kept saying about Diablo 3 getting announced for the Switch, like, and it took so long to actually announce it. It's just a bit weird, isn't it? Like, how long they took to announce something like that. And also, I'm seeing something about people had to pay $70 to watch BlizzCon, like a virtual ticket, which just sounds fucking crazy. Like, why? You know what I'm saying? Why?
See, I understand.
Why would you pay $70 for a virtual ticket though? Like, all these other things are free. E3 is free. Like, and you telling me BlizzCon $70? I mean, like, come on now, that's just horrible. That's just, you know, that's just greedy. That's just money.
Yeah,
right,
I'm never going to back up having to pay to watch something be streamed. Obviously, if you actually go to the conference itself, that's completely different. But having to pay roughly the same price to watch it on the internet is, you don't even get to try any of the games. I don't think that's what a virtual pass would include. I'm guessing it's just the streaming stuff. But let's actually, this is an interesting first topic to actually get into, but I've never heard of this shit before. I would never ever buy a virtual ticket. Like, why would I do that? That sounds insane. A virtual ticket to a show that you're never going to be. You basically get a lot of like in-game items, is what I'm seeing. You get a World of Warcraft Classic at-home demo. So you're paying for the demo. Okay.
That's $70.
And you get access to a few different things, but there's not much that you can... So it'll be £35 English money. And this year's virtual ticket holders will join show attendees as the first people to play the World of Warcraft Classic BlizzCon demo at home, normally only available on the show floor. The virtual tickets brings the content straight to your home for a limited time. Why would I want to play the classic version of World of Warcraft? Well, I mean, I'm not going to bash it because the game is quite good and a lot of people do want to play it, but why?
You could literally... Couldn't you just literally get the classic version of World of Warcraft yourself?
Nah, it's not released yet. It's like a... a new, well, it's like a new old thing they're doing. So they're bringing back the classic version.
Oh, that's just fucking stupid. That is just terrible.
I wouldn't pay £35 or $70 to play a limited time release demo and you don't get the game at the end of it. You don't get like a free year subscription or something. You don't get the game at the end of it. It's not like saying, oh, I'm going to pay, I don't know, £10 to get this game early. So, for example, Fallout 76 beta was on this week. If you paid pre-ordered, you get access to like the beta. And you still get the game after. That makes sense. Like, I understand that not everyone's down for paying more for beta access, but it's not, you don't have to do that. And you still get the game. But having to pay £35 to play the demo of a game for a limited time of 2 weeks to a month maybe, you're paying £35 for a month worth of gaming or 2 weeks worth of gaming, and then you have to go and buy the game again, and you have to watch them say they're not working on any. Well, they didn't say they're not working on any PC games, but you have to watch them say that they're putting all their main developers on mobile titles and focusing on first-party IP mobile games whilst paying that. So you've paid for them to just basically tell you that they're not going to give you anything that you want as a PC gamer.
Exactly. It just looks... I'm just reading it more and more, and it just looks more and more terrible. Like, you get a legendary skin from Overwatch for Sombra, which looks lackluster. You get some Heroes of the Storm shark thing. You get some World of Warcraft BlizzCon items, which is just like some type of armor. You get some Hearthstone cards, which look like normal cards to me. You get some StarCraft 2 shit. You get a Diablo 3 thing. It doesn't even tell you what it is. You get access to the demo, pre-show video series, live coverage from All Stage, community night, closing night festivities, the BlizzCon 2017 archive. Wow, Tom, you get access to the last year's archives. You don't even get access to every year. You just get access to last year. Like, oh, bullshit is that? $10 off a goodie bag. $10.
$10 off.
Where is the goodie bag?
You get $10.
That's what I'm saying, though. You get $10 off the goodie bag, You have to buy the goodie bag. Oh, wait. Oh, this is the kicker. BlizzCon online merch sale early access.
Nice.
In-game goodies. Build a panel. I don't even know what build a panel is.
I'm not entirely sure. But I just want to sort of go back to the fact that this Diablo Immortal is a reskin of a Chinese game. A Chinese mobile game.
What's the OG game called?
From the top of my head, I can't remember, but a lot of people were spamming on Reddit another Chinese game, which is a World of Warcraft clone, saying it's already on PC. It's not actually on PC. So the game that it's basically reskinned off is only a mobile game. So there's no way that they would port that to PC straight away anyway. So people have given wrong evidence out there that is a thing. It isn't. So, have to put that out there so people aren't slating them even more for certain things. But I don't really want to say too much else. I feel like it's a mess they've got themselves into. They could have just said, stay tuned for more Diablo content in the future, or we may have some Diablo PC content coming in the future. Instead of doing that, they just kept on digging and digging and digging a hole. And I know they're trying to be secretive maybe, and maybe Diablo 4 is gone, but just say something to keep the fans on side. It's PR. It's like PR 101. You literally just have to say something to get the fans back on your side.
this is going to be big wild because like if they're working on like mobile versions of all their IPs, they surely can't do free to play versions of everything. Unless they're going to.
Why not?
They're doing free. I just don't know. Like, I just don't know how it's really gonna like work effectively. But I guess it can. Like a free to play Overwatch. I just don't know. Like, it would just kind of go against what they was talking about with Overwatch, which is like, oh, we wanted it so everyone had access to all the characters from the start. Like, not like a thing where you had to buy the characters or get a season pass or something. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Skins will play a major part. I think it will be mobile only. I don't think that they'll do like a crossover like Fortnite did. But obviously they've got Hearthstone already on mobile.
That game translates well onto mobile anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
I wasn't really expecting
that is a game you'd put on mobile. But Diablo obviously fits quite well on a mobile device as well. Overwatch may be a little bit different, and StarCraft could possibly go to mobile, but again, you're messing with very dedicated player bases that you should know, because your company is built on these people that they primarily like to game on PC. It doesn't matter how many times you say, we in the office have found ourselves playing more on mobile. Your fans pay $70 to virtually watch you, or pay maybe more than that to be at the conference, not to watch you say, here's a free mobile game to play. And that's it. You know, they expect something big. They expect Diablo 4. They expect a new StarCraft or something. They don't expect it to come on mobile and be told that the maturity levels are going to drop down so it's accessible for everyone and nothing else. In my opinion, it seems like it's a massive mess from Blizzard and Activision not having a contingency plan of what would happen if the announcement went badly. I don't blame the producers or the developers for this. It is the people at top making the decisions, but at the same time, they've said some stuff and they're going to get slack for it now. But the company should have had a contingency plan in place and released a statement, or had a backup trailer to release just in case.
Thing is as well, they should have seen this coming when Command and Conquer released their trailer and no one liked it.
Exactly.
They should have seen
Even
that.
though, to be fair, I like that game, but...
Oh, well, you're a minority. But when people seen that game for the first time, they were very, very not happy with the series. And as I said, they're messing with player bases here. Very, very, very dedicated player bases that have put time, effort, money, love, soul, everything into these games. They've like met their partners on there. They've met lifelong friends on these games. They've formed relationships on these games. And I think it's a little bit of a cop-out to release some shit mobile games like of them. Do you know what I'm saying? Just for some cash grabs, rather than spending times and resources on to extending these universes that they've created in a more impactful way. Rather than a mobile game.
I do agree.
I digress though. You know what I'm saying? I digress because Blizzard have seen it now. They're losing stock. Do you know what I'm saying? When the stock prices start getting messed with, you know, when that money starts getting messed about, yeah, that's when you start to see companies spring into action. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, so
although this could be even worse for gamers though, like now that they've lost money, they're probably thinking of new ways to finesse us now. But who knows?
We'll see. There is some other news, but I think we'll come on to that in a bit, because I just want to do a quick rundown of another conference that went on this week, and that is the Microsoft 808s. I think that's what they call it. It's like a 2-day fan fest for Xbox. I
had no idea this shit goes on.
I've seen a little bit of it on Twitter. I follow some people that work for Sumo Digital that have been working on Crackdown 3, so I seen a little bit of information on that.
Oh yes, finally got a release date now for, I think it releases the same day as fucking hell, a lot of shit in February, Tom.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in February.
There's a lot of stuff in February, man. Like
February 28th, 2019.
Is it 28th? I thought it was 15th.
From what I'm looking at, it says February 28th.
So it's the 28th. That's weird.
No, it's actually, it is the 15th. Sorry. It doesn't look like a lot of places have updated that since yesterday.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, it's the 15th, which means it's been pushed forward by 2 weeks, which is a bit...
I mean, it makes sense because obviously that area was pretty big with was it? I thought the 14th was pretty big with games, or the 15th.
Oh, yeah. Well, what's called Jump Force is out around the same time. So that's kind of going to be that's a massive release.
Although, to be fair, it is an exclusive, so that sort of holds a little bit more selling point, and the dates don't matter as much, maybe. But
I guess so, but still, when you think about it, it's still not as, as concrete. The game's not going to do very well anyway, I don't think. And that's just not even... I don't even think it's down to Microsoft or, Crackdown the game. I just think it's just due to, people have literally just lost interest.
It's been too long.
It's just it's been too long now. This is a game that was supposed to come out at the beginning of the Xbox's life cycle, the Xbox One's life cycle, and it's now coming out towards the tail end of the Xbox One's life cycle, and the game looks very dated. It's like The Last Guardian, supposed to come out in the PlayStation 3 at the beginning of its life cycle, and ended up coming out for the PlayStation 4. Do you know what I'm saying? It's very strange, and it's been out. We've seen it for too long. Do you know what I'm saying? We've seen it for so many years. We was in college when Crackdown 3 was announced. We are now in our final year of university. So it just puts into perspective how much time has actually passed, and this game still isn't out.
Yeah, I think it's also changed developers a few times, which is never really never really a good thing for a lot of games. We've seen previously with games that have changed developers. My prime example of that would be Roller Coaster Tycoon Classic. Changed developers 3 times, and the game was a bit of a mess at the end. I don't think that Crackdown 3 is going to be a mess at the end. I think it's still going to be a pretty robust game. They've got good developers working on it now, and obviously Microsoft are working on it, and they know it's an important thing to try and get out the door. The multiplayer, the new multiplayer mode that they announced, Wrecking Zone, does look pretty good. It pits 2 teams of 5 against each other, and then whoever destroys the most basically wins, I think. So it's sort of like a free-for-all destruction thing based on teams, which seems pretty interesting. But again, I think it might be wrong time for that now. Yeah, you've got things like Fortnite and stuff around, and like you said, The Last Guardian, it came out and it still did relatively well to a degree. It didn't break sales numbers or anything, but people that were interested in the game still went and bought it. But there's not a lasting effect there where it's going to be there forever. People get it and play it and then move on pretty quickly, I think. And it's just down to what you said about how long it's took for the game to come out. The fact that it's been 5 years since the announcement, and we just got a new release date now. It seems a little bit too much. But I think we'll have to wait and see. The other exciting news, though, is that Microsoft have acquired, they are going to acquire 2 more new studios. I don't know if you've seen this, but they're going to be acquiring Obsidian Entertainment and In Exile Entertainment. So Obsidian are known for developing Fallout New Vegas, South Park Stick of Truth, Pillars of Eternity, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2. Some very good games in there. And In Exile is also well known for its development of RPG games such as Wasteland 2, Bard's Tale, Wasteland 3, which is coming out soon, and Tournament Tides of Numenera, however you say that. And obviously they already acquired Ninja Theory and Playground Games and Dead Labs. So they're making big moves in the studio market, and it does mean that they're getting studios with a lot more pedigree than they used to have now.
Yeah, this is really interesting to see from Microsoft. I really didn't expect them to be obtaining studios like this. Obsidian is an amazing studio, and it seems like Microsoft are trying to do what Sony did and have a good few strong studios on their side, but they've got a lot more than Sony though. Although I don't really know what Sony owns, like in terms of studio. Like I know they've got Santa Monica and they've got Sucker Punch and stuff like that, and they've got Kojima and they've got
Naughty Dog.
And they've got Naughty Dog and they've got Guerrilla Games. Okay, they've got quite a few. They've got Media Molecule. They've got a lot as well. Mm-hmm. But like I see Xbox out here. They're just buying studios outright rather than building them up from the ground. Like, even though like Naughty Dog and things like that haven't been built up from the ground, but I know Sony like worked close with all these studios in the past, whereas I don't think Xbox has really worked close with any of these studios in the past, other than Playground Games, the guys who made Forza. Yep. So it would be interesting to see how Microsoft works with these companies, because we also have Rare went, and it wasn't that great. So, well, let's just. I wonder if they're gonna let them do their own thing. Which what it looks like is they're just gonna be underneath the Microsoft Studio umbrella, rather than Microsoft is gonna be pulling the strings, like what happened with Rare. So, hopefully, we get some good results from this, and it'll be positive news, because I have an Xbox now, so I'm no longer a fanboy for either. Okay, I'm still a PlayStation fanboy, but I have an Xbox as well, so I want to see what they're going to do.
I'm excited for the fact that obviously we mentioned last episode that Game Pass is coming to PC. If all these things are exclusive and I can play on my PlayStation and on my PC as well, and Microsoft are going to continue to support Xbox and PC, then I'm down for that, because you know Forza is a game that I used to love when I had my Xbox. Things like Fable and stuff, like there were Microsoft exclusives. Wasn't really a big Halo fan, but the other things they had, I was into that and I liked that. Things like Viva Pinata, even though it's like a bit of a casual game, it was still like a fun game to play that you couldn't get anywhere else at the time.
Yeah, Viva Pinata was hard. Oh, I'm not even going to front on that. That was like a really, really unique game for its time. And then also it had the TV series too. So it was a really cool game.
But I think to have someone like Obsidian coming in, who has experience in good AAA games, Fallout New Vegas being like the prime example there, that they have experience of making good RPG games. Like Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, I'm not sure how good that game was. I've not actually got around to playing it.
I think some people say that it wasn't better than 1, but you know what? Star Wars fans are fickle, so I don't really know what to really say about those games.
And again,
Stick of Truth
was good. Fractured Butthole has increased. Like, it improved on the formula that Stick of Truth had, but, you know, it was the first time making a game like that, so there's bound to be ways to improve on it in the future, but I think as like a first installment, it was a solid first installment, and I firmly believe that they would be able to create something on their own and have a good RPG franchise coming out of that.
For sure. Yeah, we're just going to quickly move on because we're running out of time in our section. We're just trying to we're trying to get you as much information as we can. As usual, we've really run down most of the Microsoft stuff now. Just a quick thing, just talk about, Square Enix, the Final Fantasy 15 director has left Square Enix and has left Final Fantasy 15. Therefore, all future DLC and major updates to the game have been cancelled. As a fan and a customer of the game, I am actually disgusted. I'm really upset because I have Final Fantasy 15 and I actually really did want to get the rest of the DLC. It's a good thing I didn't get like a season pass or anything because I'll be pissed. So
well, three of the four have been cancelled, so one is still coming, but
one is still coming, which takes 30 years before the main story. These were actually main story games, and it's just insane. It's just insane. I just don't really think that is fair or anything like that on the actual players. And I was speaking to my uncle, and he was like talking about how like they reckon that Square did this despite the director, like either that or he has some type of ties to the actual final the final DLC stage. Like he's either got some type of intellectual property, or it's tied to his name, or money, or I don't know, something anyway. I just think it's really crazy because Tetsuya Nomura, who went to focus on Kingdom Hearts 3, was the original director of Final Fantasy 15, and it's just weird how this project actually turned out, because Final Fantasy 15 wasn't necessarily a bad game, but you could see where it lacked, and the little DLCs and the updates was really cool, and I just think it's just really sad. They did an actual live stream that was supposed to be about the DLC, but instead the live stream was them talking about cancelling the DLC and saying that Hajime Tabata has actually resigned from the Square Enix group and Luminous Productions to create his own studio. So I guess we'll have to just see what's going on with that. But as far as we know what Square and most Japanese companies are like. Once something is cancelled, it's done. So there's nothing else that we can really do. Yeah, very, very sad stuff. Very sad stuff.
Just like a small little bit added on to that, we know that Tabata opened up Luminous Productions, which is like a studio based out of Tokyo within Square Enix, to work on AAA games earlier in the year, in March, I believe. And yeah, I think he's still working for them, so we'll have to see what comes out of that. Some people have been saying that Final Fantasy 16 obviously hasn't been announced, but they could be working on Final Fantasy 16, and that could be why certain things have been delayed, or maybe he's just gone to focus on something completely different. I guess we won't really know, but yeah, it's another thing.
I don't think he's definitely not working for Square anymore. He said he's left the Square Enix group, so it's definitely nothing to do with Square anymore. He's gone. He's set up his own company now, like totally exclusive from Square. So what he goes to work on is definitely going to be nothing Final Fantasy related. So we're just going to have to see.
Yeah, we will have to see. It's interesting, but we'll get into it if we get more details, maybe next episode or later down the line. So one thing we've been mentioning quite a lot over the past coming weeks as well is how games are moving more into a streaming direction. And there's news out today that certain things have been released stats-wise to show that PlayStation Now is actually the most popular, or revenue-wise anyway, the most popular game subscription service. It accounts for 52% of game subscription service revenue in Q3 of 2018, which actually makes it the most popular. EA Access or Origin Access being at 33% and Xbox Game Pass only at 15%. I fully believe Xbox Game Pass is going to surpass EA Access when it comes to PC. But again, if PlayStation do what Xbox are doing and bring exclusive launch titles to PlayStation Now, they could still hold a hold over that market. And that's something they should probably consider. Because if Xbox are doing it, I think we'd see, come Q2 of 2019, a massive surge in the Xbox Game Pass, and PlayStation going to lose ground there a little bit. But again, we'll just have to see, and we can't say what's going to happen. Obviously, PlayStation Now does cost $10 more a month than the Game Pass, but that still doesn't imply that the actual user base is larger by any means, because 52% compared to 15 doesn't equate to that much a month. But just to sort of top that off as well, it's only 6% of overall PC and console revenue we're seeing from subscription services so far that have come out in Q3 of 2018. So whilst
that's really interesting. Yeah. That's actually quite lower than I expected.
Mm-hmm. And whilst it does seem that subscription services are the way forward, it doesn't look like anyone's catching on to that anytime soon. Only a minority for now. But it is known that people that subscribe to game services spend on average $15 more a month than people that don't on in-game content. So cosmetic items and season passes, if games are going to be looking for players to purchase those on a regular basis, subscription services are where they're going to be looking at for the future.
Oh shit, no way. So you're going to have to pay monthly for items?
Not necessarily, but it's just shown that the statistic is if a game offers cosmetic purchases, so things such as Fortnite, games such as maybe Black Ops or Battlefield, things like Overwatch maybe, Rocket League, for example, as well, with the Season Pass. Games that offer that Season Pass thing of competitive where you can pay to have the season every 3 months, maybe. That obviously offers them more revenue if the game's already available on a subscription service compared to if you have to buy the game beforehand. So it looks like...
Oh, wait, we was talking about that, about how FIFA was supposed to be going towards a subscription-based service, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, I think it's on EA Access now, so I do believe it might just stick on EA Access. Which would make sense.
Well,
but it is obviously an easy way for these people to get people to play their games. So once they can play the game for $10 a month, it's very easy to get them to spend another $10 a month on in-app purchases because they haven't bought a game this month, for example.
That is interesting. That is a very interesting... We need to look into more of that, the business of that, because that could actually mess up a lot of things, like, because, you know, not everyone has like great internet connection and stuff like that. Like, how are we going to work that out to a happy medium?
Most of it's going to be that you can download
like everything is Yeah, digital. Just we already seen what happened with Red Dead. Like it was causing some people days to download the game. Mm-hmm. But even if you bought the physical copy, it was still a couple hours install. And that wasn't even without the update.
Yeah, that's the problem. But again, if games are to progress, unfortunately, file sizes have to get bigger. And whilst I understand people are moaning, as they are gamers, people always moan at the games industry for it. At another point, it is technology companies' fault for that, for not updating internet connections correctly or throttling them just to earn more money. Which is basically what happens. At the end of the day, it's not the gamer's fault. It's not, if you say, oh, EA are doing this, well, or Rockstar are doing this, and it's so big. Yes, but if you want the quality of game that you are asking for, you have to expect that. And unfortunately, that will require a big internet connection to download quickly and efficiently. And, that's when you turn to your ISPs, your internet service providers, and ask them, why do other countries have high-speed connections and we're still lacking? And why are you trying to charge us stupid amounts of money for high internet connections when you throttle people anyway?
Yeah, and it doesn't work. So, what's the point? I don't know. I guess we will figure it out. But as you guys know, we're from the UK, and our internet speed is average at best. Probably not even that. It's pretty terrible sometimes. So it just goes to show, like, I guess, like, innovation and how far people are. Like, sometimes our mobile internet is a lot faster than miles faster than than Wi-Fi.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it just depends sometimes as well. I don't know. I really don't know. But yeah, we're just coming now to tail end of gaming. We was having a big conversation about this off air, and the PlayStation Classic uses a open source emulator, a quite known one as well. And we were just talking about whether a consumer or like the people who create the emulation companies, like, is it fair for companies to outright attack these companies, but are then allowed to use their software in an official way, but kind of like, is it really, like, fair, like, to charge people £90 for an open source PlayStation emulator? Technically, like, I just don't really know. Like, I really think that PlayStation probably could have made their own, and also the PlayStation Classic is really uninspiring, and it doesn't seem like that much of a great, like, mini system to have. The games, I really feel like, doesn't define the PlayStation 1's era at all. It's got a lot of key titles missing. So I heard the Japanese version of it as well gets better games. This is what I'm hearing as well. The lineup is slightly different in Japan, which is weird. I don't know why you wouldn't just give them the same lineup.
As always. I mean,
whatever in it.
I think it's because a lot of... maybe not a lot, but, at that point, region locking was still a thing. So, I mean, we've seen with Nintendo that they released games that weren't region locked in the UK and places now on their old emulator consoles. But I suppose Sony don't want to do that, or they've got plans for the future. One of the two.
Well, they've already confirmed that the PlayStation Classic will stay as this. It will never get updated, and that's about it, really. Everyone's just saying how boring it is. It's not really like, it's not really something that you would, you know, want to actually get. Like, doesn't even have Wipeout on it. Like, it just seems a little bit lackluster, like, compared to the hype it was, like. And then, like, me and Tom was talking about, like, yeah, it's got, you know, it's got Metal Gear on there and stuff like that. But, like, you got to really think to yourself, if I'm playing Metal Gear Solid, yeah, why would I play it on a PlayStation 1 Classic with a D-pad when I can play, like, either Twin Snakes or the HD upscaled version that works with analog sticks? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and I understand you had the argument of, you know, some people aren't as tech savvy as me, but I'm also thinking to myself, like, if anyone was really collecting these PlayStation Classics, I don't think that person is not gonna not know how to use technology because they had a PlayStation and they're collecting a mini version of the PlayStation. So I'm guessing they're the kind of same type of people as us.
You'd be surprised
who won,
because it's playing on the nostalgia effect.
Yeah, that is true, but there's a lot of those games in there where I got to think to myself, like, I'm pretty sure these are people who would definitely know how to use a PC. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, maybe that's me being biased and me being very, like, naive and me being very, like, but I'm just playing, like, into it. Like, if this is a person that I was thinking it was being marketed to as, like, you know, as, you know, just like us, loves games, loves all that culture, like, you know, media, comics, films, anime, all that kind of stuff, I just thought that they would know how to use a PC and stuff like that. Like, I really feel like it is more for a collection rather than to play it. And then people who are buying it just to play it are pretty underwhelmed by it.
Well, I think it's slight naivety, but it's the fact that, yeah, not everyone that owned a PlayStation, probably the majority of people that owned a PlayStation originally didn't own it for the fact that they enjoyed playing loads of games on it. They maybe played one game on it. It's the same as, like, Crash Bandicoot and Spyro getting remasters, and you'll see people that haven't played games in years going back out and wanting to play it again, because there's only certain games that a lot of people would have played as children, and that nostalgia effect of seeing a new PlayStation console that's tiny that you can get for like £100, you'll see a lot of people jump on that. See, it's not it's look into the details.
It's weird that you say play. It's weird that you say that, like, play it as children, like those games. But the PlayStation only came out in '96, so these people are our age, so
or possibly older.
Oh yeah, they're possibly older as well. That is true. They are possibly older, but I'm saying if you're talking in terms of, like, a kid playing Spyro and now they want to go and buy his console, they're our age, and I just feel like in our age we're a lot more forward with technology and a lot more adept at it. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, I do understand where you're going. I'm just playing devil's advocate because that's just what I do. My whole life's devil's advocate. So, like, I was just looking at the list, and a lot of these games have been re-released on systems that you probably already own. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, none of them are really, like, true PlayStation. Like, you can only get them redone now, like, on the PlayStation Classic. Like, you never find them outside of the PlayStation Classic, like, because I know a lot of these games have been re-released on PlayStation 3 or PS4. Now we have PlayStation Now, which is really, like, is games from previous titles, like, previous platforms. So I just don't know. Like,
PlayStation Now,
I don't know,
doesn't include any PlayStation 1 games yet, I don't think.
What, PlayStation Now? Well, that's interesting. I didn't know
which makes
that.
me believe that it might just be a cash grab for the PlayStation Classic, and there isn't a 2 on the way because it's already on PlayStation Now. So there's positives going forward, but we've spoke about games for enough this episode. We don't just speak about games; we speak about other stuff. A nice sort of transition is to say that if you've got a Nintendo Switch, YouTube is now on Nintendo Switch as an app, so download it. It's good to have a media app on the Nintendo Switch now. I believe this works in the US. I'm not sure if it works in the UK yet, so apologies if I'm wrong on that, but just go and check.
It's weird how they announce YouTubers on the Switch, and then they also announced that they're shutting down all media apps on the Nintendo Wii, which it's about time in it really to shut those down now. It's a pretty old console and it's ran its course. They just need to announce more media apps for the Switch, to be honest. Like, I'm surprised like Netflix is not there yet and stuff like that. Like, those is what they need to announce. But Nintendo is obviously, they're just trying their best at the moment to like get all these games out that they keep announcing. So I guess we'll see what is actually in store for the Switch in terms of like that side, because as we said before, we've already went on a massive tirade about how Nintendo just really, that's one of their like their, what do you call it, shortfalls? I would say shortfalls. What their shortfalls is, downfalls is that they don't really know how to deal with that whole like internet like media side, like outside of the games. Like, they don't really know how to bring that kind of like extra like usability to the system, outside of just playing games. Like, whereas Xbox One and PlayStation do know how to do that. Xbox One so much more. Like, I feel like, remember, because they tried to push the Xbox rather than a gaming console, they tried to be like, oh, it's an entertainment system. But then when the Xbox One X came out, they were like the world's most powerful console, because they just try and play on all these different audiences. Like, first it was a media player, and now it's the world's most powerful console. Like, make your mind up. Like, so I feel like Nintendo just need to really like knock it out of the park when it comes to the media apps. Like, get Netflix on there, see if you can get a deal with Disney, see if you can put the new streaming service on there, do something a little bit different. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand what you mean, but they did market it primarily as a portable gaming device.
As a game, yeah,
and
that's true.
I think, as much as I'd like media apps on there, it's only been out for just over a year, and I think they're just sticking to their guns and saying, look, this is a gaming device. We're going to slowly release media apps on it, but you wanted a gaming device, and we're not going to clog it up with lots of other stuff. This is a gaming device.
Yeah, I do understand that, but at the same time, I feel like, it's just Nintendo just being themselves as usual, and they just really don't want to adapt to it. But now I see people are actually starting to get a little bit angry and upset about it, because they're like, yeah, we're playing our Switch, but like, that's all we can do with it. Like, say for example, hardcore Nintendo fans who they only buy Nintendo systems, they're really looking for something else to do with their system. Like, say for example, that's the only system they use. That's the only system I have in the house. They don't have, unlikely, but they don't have like a computer or a laptop or PS4 or smart TV or Xbox One, or they maybe don't even have a really good smartphone, but they have a Nintendo Switch. So maybe they want something on there so they can, watch stuff. And YouTube is a good addition because you can watch a ton of different content on there. So, yeah, I guess they should just carry on what they're doing in it. Like, if that is the case, they never really said they were supposed to be made for entertainment. But if they do want to compete, though, they should consider some cool media apps on there.
Well, Hulu's already out on the Nintendo Switch in America, and we're hearing today say today, this is going to be going out next week. So you would have already heard it by now, maybe. But since Disney's purchase of Fox, which Hulu, Fox owns Hulu, so now Disney owns Hulu. Disney are looking to significantly expand that into international territory, they've said. For me, that's a massive, massive thing, because I've wanted Hulu for a long time, and you can only get it in the United States, as far as I know. But to bring all that content elsewhere is a big plus. Also, we know that all the mature stuff from Disney is going to be going to Hulu now. So, I mean, that's a small little positive as well. That this is like a good streaming service that is coming to the UK. While it might not be good, because it means that a lot of other streaming services may, I don't know, have to compete with each other more, or you might be paying for 4 streaming services a month now. I do think if you compare it to like a cable package, you're still value for money.
It's, you know what, though, it does really depend though, because so for example, I went home, I went to my parents' house, and they pay like £70 for TV package and the internet included in there. So sometimes I think the internet is a massive amount of money as well. So if you have like 4 subscription services going at the same time, you potentially could be spending around £80 anyway. So it's all depends. Like, you don't have to have every streaming service though. Like I have Amazon Prime, and technically I have Netflix, but it's not mine. Like, it's just my sister's account that I happen to watch on. So like, it's like, it just depends. It just really just depends, like, on what you would want to subscribe to. Because I also subscribe to Apple Music and PlayStation Plus and like a bunch of other things. But like, you just have to think about what is the best for you. But yeah, that's really it for the gaming section, and we're moving on to films and TV quite quickly, because we've spent a huge amount of time on we've only got like not a lot of time left to discuss anything. Right, what you want to get into, man?
I mean, we were just speaking about Hulu, so I was just going to expand on it a little bit more. The fact that we know that Fox are going to be taken over by Disney on January the 1st. All the mature content is coming to that, and we then know that Disney announced the name of their streaming service this month, which is going to be called Disney Plus. And they have announced, that there is going to be a lot of stuff coming to the Disney streaming service. So just sort of going through the stuff that is coming, there's going to be The Mandalorian, the Star Wars Bounty Hunter series that's going to be coming, Star Wars Clone Wars, all Disney films all Disney and Marvel films after Captain Marvel in 2019. There is also going to be a prequel to Rogue One, which is being made, and that will be coming to Disney Plus as well. That's going to follow Cassian Andor. Other things is that there was that rumoured Loki live action series that we heard about that's going to be starring Tom Hiddleston, and that has been confirmed by Disney now as well to be on the streaming service. And obviously they've got a big back catalogue to go into, so we might see a lot of stuff from the, like, animation wise from the House of Mouse, or even things like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids coming to the streaming service. And I do think that while people are saying, I don't think I want to pay for a non-mature Disney service, most of Disney's content, 95% of it, is non-mature. So I do think they've got enough back catalogue to be there. And maybe they'll do like a joint partnership where you pay maybe $15 a month instead of $7 a month, and you get access to Hulu and Disney on the same account. Now, if they do that, they're sort of doing the family market and the mature market at the same time and giving them access to all the content they make. Because a lot of people don't know, but Disney do actually own a lot of production companies that make mature content. And obviously Disney own the rights to that. So all those are going to be going to Hulu. You know, things like The Sixth Sense was actually produced by a Disney-owned company. So that could find its way to Hulu in the near future and be part of a subscription package service they could offer. And to be honest, I think I'd like a subscription package service if they put that out as a thing. You know, it's going to be a lot easier to be able to access family content and mature content if they offer it as a package rather than having to pay for two separate things and log in with two different accounts. But I mean, we'll have to wait and see. Are you excited for this, or do you think that it's going to be like something that you're not that interested in? You're just going to stick to something like Netflix?
Yeah, I probably will just stick to Netflix. I don't really see why we get Hulu, because Hulu is not, it's not that great compared to Netflix, like, in my opinion. Like, not that I really know what Hulu is, because it's been an American like exclusive for like how long. Disney Plus, I'm not paying to just watch Disney only content. That's just really stupid. Like, I will not be subscribing to that at all. And if you think you're going to get me out of here with some standalone TV series, then you've got another thing coming, Disney. So I'm not going to be doing that. The Avengers TV series and that, I will be watching those through other means.
I mean, I'm going to be probably subscribing when it comes out. You've got to take into account that there's the whole Disney back catalogue, the Pixar back catalogue, 21st Century Fox's back catalogue, and Marvel's back catalogue as well. That's a lot of content. I don't need those back catalogues though. When's the time when I'm like, oh yeah, I really want to go and watch like X-Men? Like, I don't like that. That's the problem though. Like, I'm not going to get a whole streaming service just for Disney films. Like, it just really doesn't make sense to me. Like, I'm just saying, in the age and time where I can really just watch these films other ways, I don't need to buy an official streaming subscription to watch these films that I've watched a lot of times already, to give money to a company which is effectively taking over the earth and is also doing a lot of actually, like, you know, they're like, Disney's a cool company and everything, but like, they also do a lot of shitty things too. Like, they're not squeaky clean. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's just like one of them ones where, like, oh, do you really need to do this? Like, was it really necessary to take everything that Disney owns off all the streaming services? It's only going to hurt themselves. They're not going to be bigger than Netflix. So I think you underestimate what they could do if they own Hulu as well. Yeah, Netflix have had a good head start by knowing about this now and being able to produce their own original content.
But yeah, I do understand what you're saying. Like, if Disney managed to get some good licenses and stuff like that, and Hulu, and they team up with Hulu to make good series, then fair enough. But Netflix has already got it on Smash, though. As you said, they've got a head start. They know the streaming business a little bit more well. We've seen other streaming services come out and not perform as well as Netflix has. And we've seen it with Amazon Prime Video. They couldn't get it started. they're still struggling to get it started, even though they've got a few good series on there now. But it took time, and they still don't have that much of the market space. Hulu, as I said, I don't really know much about.
Hulu
Disney Plus is
pretty big.
Disney Plus is brand new. Obviously, we'll have to see how they market this as well, because, you know, Netflix marketed, but like really didn't market though when it first came out. So like it kind of just got around from word to mouth, and then like it became like a huge meme of like Netflix and chill and things like that. And, you know, like it got its own buzz, and then it's had like quite a few hit shows that have come from straight from Netflix, like Netflix originals. So Hulu originals, I have to see.
There's a lot of Hulu originals. Castle Rock being one, The Handmaid's Tale being another. They're
are those see, but that is the problem though. These are Handmaid's Tale is a show that has been shown in England, like on TV.
Yeah.
So how is that avoided? You know what I'm saying? Like there's shows on Netflix that are originals that haven't been shown on TV. Like Stranger Things is not on TV. Like
it's
Orange is the New Black is Orange is the New Black is on TV actually. It's being done through Sony Pictures, I think like only like season 1 or something like that, or maybe I'm not quite sure now, but I'm sure I did see it on TV once.
It will they will take it off TV if it does come over to here, but Hulu has got obviously all the Fox stuff, so you've got things like The Walking Dead, even stuff like Atlanta would be on Hulu on catch up.
Yeah, but I'm not just talking about like obviously America and everything. I'm talking about like England in territory wise. Like all of those kind of shows, as I said, have been shown on TV already, like on like different channels and stuff. I'm just saying that like now all of it being switched over to Hulu, it just causes confusion for the customer. The consumer gets confused. They're just going to know Disney Plus is like Disney. Like they're not going to really know what Hulu is. Like it's already hard to get people on board with a new streaming service or with a new service as a whole. Like, I just don't know if Disney's name is strong enough on its own for people to go out there and pay another subscription service per month just for the back catalogue of Disney films and 21st Fox films. As you said before, people probably would like to have that at their whims, but a lot of people also probably already have the DVDs. So like, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know. As I said, I don't have Netflix anyway. Like, I don't know.
I think it's a hard time. You've got to take into account that they do offer a lot of stuff in America. Whether they bring that over to here, I don't know, but they do offer things like Cartoon Network, ABC, all the NBC stuff, all the Hulu originals, certain ESPN things in America. Now, if things like that do get brought over to the UK, maybe not the sports stuff, but, you know, HBO stuff, everything like that that's on Hulu, it could become a big thing for...
But I don't think... Well, already there, you already got a problem because all the HBO stuff is being exclusively licensed to Sky Atlantic, so that would never come over to a streaming service because it's already in England-wise. If we're talking about broadcasting something, that is exclusively written to Sky Atlantic. So...
Until a certain time.
I don't think it's... Yeah, till a certain time, but for now, it still seems to be HBO originals are only on Sky Atlantic, and I don't think that's ending anytime soon because they have a deal set in place already where certain Sky users, for example, my parents are a part of this like thing where if you've been a part of Sky for so long, like you get like exclusive access to like shows like 24 hours before anyone else. Like when the new Game of Thrones season comes out, they're going to watch it a whole 24 hours before anyone else because they have an exclusive deal with HBO.
But
Sky Atlantic does. So I don't know if things like that will come over to, because England's weird because we have to get separate international broadcasting rights for channels that don't exist in America.
But it's only a exclusive 5-year agreement until 2019 or 2020. So basically, Disney are looking into the possibility of expanding Hulu into that. I think they'll obviously take into account everything like that as well, because they're already doing that with the Star Wars films. And I think they will actually look at either buying Sky out of that deal to distribute HBO TV catalogue, or wait until it's expired and then keep it to themselves to spread elsewhere. And unfortunately, you know, that does mean that if they already have a deal with Hulu and they can get it back for the UK, that, you know, they've got it all in one place then, and it makes it easy for HBO to say, wherever you are around the world, use Hulu to watch our shows. On HBO. Yeah. It's HBO now, isn't it? That's weird. You can use Hulu.
But HBO already got their own like little. It's all weird. I personally don't like it because I feel like Disney has too much of a monopoly on everything now. Because I forgot actually Disney owns Sky as well. So once this Fox deal goes through, so I don't really know what they're gonna do with all of these things. Now that I'm really thinking about it. So
I think you have to pay extra for HBO on Hulu.
Oh, for fuck's sake. It all sounds like too much money, and I just don't think it's fair to make people, because this is what the problem was supposed to be. We're supposed to be, streaming services are supposed to be free of all this bullshit of like having to decide what packages to get, because you get a bunch of different entertainment content all in one area for £10 a month. Very affordable. Now you've got to figure out which services to get, because it's going to have exclusive streaming rights only for like 2.5 years on this service. Like, I just think it's really stupid, and we shouldn't have to decide that. But what are we supposed to do? It's Disney, so I don't know. I don't know what we can do. Like, I, for one, I'm still betting on Netflix because I like the stuff they're coming out with. I think they come out with better things overall.
Yeah, okay, Netflix in the UK. Yeah, the trouble is, whatever America does, we will follow for streaming, I believe. And the catalogue that Hulu has is undoubtedly much more wide appealing than the Netflix catalogue. They literally, all the content that we can watch on Netflix on the UK version is all on Hulu, because it's all through the channels they have partnerships with. For example, Fox. And ABC and NBC. So even though they do originals as well.
But that's the wild thing though. Like ABC, NBC, and Fox and things like that, they're not known to the English territory, and they're not known to the international territories as well as America. So how are Hulu going to make it work for international territories? What are they going to partner with their channels, or are they going to even be able to offer those services in international territories without there being some type of monetary crossover, like where they're going to pay for licensing or broadcasting rights in those territories? That's all I'm talking about. I'm talking about, like, how is it going to work? Like, what are we going to see from this? Like, the Fox deal hasn't even gone through yet, so we don't even know when Hulu is actually going to initially come. It could be 2 years from now. So I don't know. I am interested to see what they do, because it will be interesting to see if someone can come up against Netflix and if they can actually have a good shot against them. But we'll have to see.
If
see.
anyone will, it'll be Hulu. The other thing is that it would be a big bash for Sky for us in the UK, because Sky would have a lot more competition to try and keep hold of those licenses now by a big company. And I don't think that's a bad thing.
Well, as I said, not really, because remember, like, Disney's just going to own all of these things. So technically, it's just Disney hurting itself. So I don't really know what to really say about it, or it seems really, really odd. But yeah, the streaming wars, it has begun finally. We thought it was the music one was bad. My God, the video ones are going to be even worse. The next couple of years are going to be very interesting. Just a quick tidbit as well. Netflix are really, as we said, I don't even know, man, like episodes ago, like we said about Netflix pumping in something mad, like how much is it? Talk like 300 million into anime.
Well, I could not remember the number.
New anime series. It was a lot of money anyway. They are making anime series based on Pacific Rim. That's going to be cool. And an Altered Carbon anime as well. That is also going to be super cool. Like cyberpunk-esque, like Ghost in the Shell, Akira, all those kind of things.
I don't know if anyone's watched the Altered Carbon live action series that Netflix released last year. But while it was good in some places, like some of the special effects let it down. And I do think if they can turn this into an anime, it's perfectly set up for anime, and it could be one of the best animes that you've seen cyberpunk wise in a long time.
I don't know about that, Tom.
I don't know. It's
I don't know about
it's going to be written by the guy that made Cowboy Bebop.
Okay, might be hard still. Might be a little bit hard then. Like, as in, there's been some good cyberpunk animes out, like recent, like not recent, but like in the last couple of years. So like Netflix doing it. I know they actually partnered with like a couple of Japanese studios. So I wonder what studio is actually working on this. And if it's the guy from Cowboy Bebop, then it's usually either like might be Mappa or like Production IG, which are like both really good studios. So I'm excited to see the series. Like, I didn't know the guy doing Cowboy Bebop was the one who was actually doing it. So yeah, it actually might be one of the best cyberpunk animes we ever see.
It looks promising. The other thing is there's one that's far along is called Kagesta, of an insect cage, and it's based on a manga set in an apocalyptic world where the disease titled Kagesta turns people into giant murderous insects. It's directed by Full Metal Panic's Koichi Chigira, and I've actually seen some footage of that, some of the trailers that have been out, and again, that looks like a very good anime coming out. So it's a good thing to see that these are like, it's not like what you would expect from a westernized anime either. It's like, it is Eastern anime. It's pure anime. It's the studio working on it has been given freedom to do what they want, and it is pure anime. It's not set to any restrictions, and I think that's really good. Yeah,
and we also got one more anime as well. Flying Lotus executively produced and scoring a new Netflix anime starring Lakeith Stanfield. This is going to be heavily, think about Afro Samurai. It's going to be called Yasuke, which is based upon an actual real life black samurai from back in the day, which is apparently like there was quite a few black samurais back in the day that were bouncing around Japan, and this is actually one that that is heavily inspired by. The details are very scarce at the moment, but all we know so far story-wise is a retired Ronin who is charged with transporting a mysterious child who dark forces want to eliminate. It sounds amazing. And Flying Lotus soundtrack to Blade Runner, animated short film last year, directed by Shinshiro Wanatabe, which is Cowboy Bebop's director. So we already know that Flying Lotus is it's good for it. So I'm really excited for this. He's like the new age RZA that like scores all these like weird things. So
it's also
I like
it's also been created by the guy that made Boondocks, LaShawn Thomas.
Oh yeah, LaShawn Thomas. Aaron McGruder is actually still working on his own cartoon. He's working with who is he working with? Because he's making his own as well. He's the actual creator of Boondocks. LaShawn Thomas is actually just one of like the producers and developers of it. He's also working on something new as well. He keeps teasing about it, so hopefully it's like a revive of the Boondocks. Hopefully. But he's working with Amazon Prime Video, which is very interesting because this guy's working with Netflix. Yeah, that's about it for films and TV. Oh no, that is not it for films and TV. Something really sad has actually happened in California, and there's been a lot of horrific fires that have been actually, I think they're still ongoing as we speak, as we record. Obviously just prayers and condolences to anyone who has been involved in the fire. It's just really tragic and it's just horrific. It just, I
just want to point out if anyone is listening or knows anyone that has been involved in the fire, I believe Airbnb are offering free stays until the 29th of November. So look into that, and if you need somewhere to stay, then Airbnb are offering the free stuff until November 29th, which could be helpful.
Yeah. That's really, really good by Airbnb to actually do that. Yeah, it's just really horrific. We're obviously in the UK, so we don't know much about, about California or how to really help in any way. All we can do is just say that, check on your loved ones if they live in the area. Do as much as you can if you have any free time to just help people out if they need place, because it's a hard time. Like, lots of people's homes were burnt down. Lots of different properties were burned down. So like the Westworld locations were burnt down in the fire.
Robin Thicke's house was also burnt down.
No one gives a fuck about Robin Thicke's house. We're talking about really important things. Other people, like real life civilians' houses and things about Robin Thicke. What's he done so far, except for try and get Paula back, and he didn't get her back?
He released that good song.
That album was really bad. That was a really bad album.
He released that good song with Pharrell.
Bad. What good song with what? Blurred Lines. You talking about Blurred Lines?
How does it go?
We're not singing it. The song was like banned because it was like misogynistic. I'm not singing that song on the show. Fucking hell. Yeah, just is anyway. Back to seriousness. Yeah, just prayers and condolences. Hope everyone is safe. Hope all of our listeners are safe. We do have actually quite a few people from California that listen to us, so we're just hoping that everyone is okay over there. Yeah, and that's just about it, really. As I said before, try and help as much out in your local community. Help anyone out that you can if you have time. It's just a really horrific time. just, you know, the world is just a bit crazy at the moment. So just everyone stay safe out there. With that being said, we'll move on to something a little bit more lighthearted, which is usually the music section. I'm just going to run down the general releases that have happened, because about 70 million albums come out every week now. Like, we literally record the show every 2 weeks, and we come back to about 60 billion albums that we have to like now all listen to in full and review, otherwise we're trash. So
that definitely increased them from 70 million to 60 billion pretty quickly.
Yo, it just adds up. Okay, it just adds up. I don't even remember what we've actually like gone. I think the last time we've got here,
there's a lot of albums.
The last show that recorded. Yeah. So we're starting off with this is a single. Ariana Grande released a new single called "Thank You Next" as a direct response to her now ex-fiance Pete Davidson, and Osmos is also an ode to Mac Miller, rest in peace. It is basically just about some of her ex-partners and just her getting on with life, I guess. Yeah.
Hello Black's released an album called Christmas Funk. Interesting.
Okay, that's another new release, I guess. Thank you very much, Tom. So just quickly, because we actually are running out of time, Metro Boomin released "Not All Heroes Wear Capes." I just want to start off by saying it's fire, and listen to it. It's basically a Travis Scott and 21 Savage album, so take that as you will. The beats are pretty hard, lots of cool samples on there. Probably the best I've ever seen 21 Savage perform on an album, so I'm excited for his new project, which also drops this month as well. I think November the 23rd, so I'm excited for that too. Back from the Dead 3 by Chief Keef, the GOAT himself. Listened to it, skimmed over. It is what it is. It's pretty much just drill, your usual thing from Chief Keef. It's not too special. It's not an album. It's definitely just a mixtape and a project from him. We know when we get an album Keef, it's usually a lot different. White Bronco by Action Bronson. This is the first time I'm hearing Action Bronson actually sounding like he wants to rap again. I didn't like Blue Chip 7000 that much. I thought it was really poor compared to other efforts. So I'm happy about White Bronco. I think White Bronco's a lot better than Blue Chip 7000. What you sounded like you disagree with there.
Yeah, I've tried to listen to White Bronco a little bit. I haven't really got into it too much yet. I don't know. I feel like I may have to keep listening to it to see, but I still wasn't a massive fan of Blue Chip 7000, but I warmed to that a little bit more than I'm warming to White Bronco at the moment. Which is a bit surprising, because I was quite a big fan of Action Bronson back in the day. But
well, it's just one of them where you just have to just keep listening to it, and you know, it kind of just it might just like click for you, or it might not. Who knows? Don't matter if it doesn't. We've got Fetty, which is a collab album by Currency, Freddie Gibbs, and Alchemist. The beats are amazing, the raps are amazing, the flows are amazing. Just check that whole album out. It's just crazy. The Last Rocket by Takeoff. That is now the second solo album from one of the Migos, with Offset's album being released last, which is coming out quite soon, isn't it?
To be honest, I stopped following whatever's going on with Migos.
Yeah, it's just whatever. Takeoff's album was actually really good though. Like he does kind of like, you kind of see why he's like a little bit of like an underdog. Like his raps are pretty much the tightest out of all of them, and I didn't think that was the case. He actually can make songs rather than just hooks, which is what I was upset with on Quavo Huncho, or Huncho Quavo, whatever it's called.
Quavo Huncho.
Yeah. We've got Poison by Swiss Beats. A big shout out to Swiss Beats. He liked our post. Shout out to Swiss Beats. I don't know if you're ever going to listen to this, but we really fuck with you. DMX, Rough Riders Anthem. That was my shit. The Poison album is really good. Have you checked it out yet, Tom?
Not really, to be honest. I've not really checked out too much this week so far.
I think you really enjoy it. It's actually really good. It's a really good album. There's a song on there called Echo featuring Nas. It's probably one of the best rap songs this year. It's insane. FM by Vince Staples. Crazy album. Vince is on a fucking run right now. We heard some new Old Sweatshirt. We heard some new Tiger on the album. I like the whole concept of the album. I think it's very cool. It's very fun. So, check out FM. A little bit of like a under the radar release. Poison Ivy by Young Lean was released out of the blue. Not my favorite Young Lean project. It's okay, I guess. Like, it just isn't what I really expect from him. But I do like a song on there called Rope Man, which was on the playlist.
Yeah, I do like some of his experimental stuff. He tends to release a few things.
Is there anything else? Earl Sweatshirt released a new single, Nowhere to Go. The song itself is really cool. Karen,
that's it.
Oh, you just like the song. Yeah. The beat's really weird. It's not what I expected from Earl, but I do really dig it. No Intro by Lancey Foe, IDK and Friends by IDK. Trippie Redd released I Love Letter to You 3. Tyler the Creator released a new song from the Dr. Seuss The Grinch original motion picture soundtrack called I Am the Grinch. It is probably one of his best songs he's ever made. It's insane. Have you listened to it yet, Tom?
Yeah, it's actually been out for
about 3 days now.
Nah, it's probably been out for about 3 weeks. But it's only caught attention.
Not You're a Mean One.
Oh, the actual Grinch song.
Yeah, like there's a brand new one that's come out with the to coincide with the film.
No, I have not listened to that, but I've seen the video without sound.
Yeah, it's after we get off. Like we finished doing the show, you need to listen to it. It's fucking sick. We also have Shmino, who's come out with Noir. The album is really good. Jay Critch released Hood Favorite. We have an instrumental album out by Icy Twat called Good Pussy. Yes, I know the name is very salacious. I don't really know what else has come out, but that was a lot of music.
There's just a few. Tiny, there's Lil Wayne dropped 3 new songs the day we're recording this. Basically all from Carter 5, but with different features, I believe. Hasta La Vista is a song he did on his own. And then there's Where Are You? Was it Who Are You, I believe? Or Where Are You with Post Malone. What About Me? Not even close. What About Me with Post Malone? Which is, I think it's a different feature to on the album. And then In This House with Gucci Mane as well. And all 3 of them are available on streaming services now. But they've released the singles and haven't been added to the actual album. So whether this means that there's going to be a deluxe album coming on the way, which could happen because there's bound to be a lot of tracks from this that didn't get released. Only other thing is Anderson .Paak with Who Are You, and his album, I think it's called Obsidian, is actually coming on the 16th of November, I believe. So you've got that to look forward to as well. And going on the 17th of November, actually. We've heard 2 songs from that album so far, Tints with Kendrick Lamar and Who Are You, which doesn't have a feature. Other features on the album include Pusha T, Dr. Dre, Artful Dodger, or The Last Artful Dodger, and Snoop Dogg, J. Cole, Q-Tip. So there's quite a packed album, and it's very funky from what I've heard so far. And Anderson .Paak's proven that he is actually a good rapper, and he's more than just a backing guy that does drums and, you know, sings a little bit. He can actually rap. I think it's good to see that. Like, he is proving a lot of people wrong and getting a lot more attention in different areas of music now.
Who's this you're
Anderson
talking
.Paak.
about? Ah, yes, Anderson .Paak. He's definitely got to shock some people with Oxnard. He did a freestyle on LA Leakers, and it was insane. Mm-hmm. And his video for Tints is also really good.
Yeah, it's
really, really, really good. Like, the song's so like bouncy and happy, and like the video's so dark.
He's been on the back burner for a long time, and I think this or next year could be his year. His last album is completely underrated as well. If you go and listen to that album, it's a lot funkier.
Oh yeah, yeah. Is that Malibu? Yeah, that, and I like the Knowledge collab as well. You know, NX Worries. I think that's a really, really good project.
Other things music-wise, there's not really a lot. There's obviously Camp Flognor's on right now. If you follow Tyler, the Creator, or a lot of the people involved with that, you'll know that Camp Flognor's on right now. Tyler, the Creator's there. Earl Sweatshirt is possibly performing somewhere, I think. I seen Alan Kingdom tweet him earlier, so I was interested in that.
Yeah, Earl's performing. He's on at 8.
Yeah,
I think. I think he's on before Kids See Ghosts.
There's a live stream up by the time this airs. That will be over. So we're recording this as it's currently on. So we haven't seen all the sets since Tyler's set, and it looked pretty good. Pusha T also did a set at Camp Flognor and was not very happy with the background screen, and actually blamed his words, corny ass tech dude for fucking with my screens. Basically, when Pusha T was performing, the words on the back of the screen behind him flashed up saying "fuck Drake," and the whole crowd chanted it at the same times, predictably as they would. And then Pusha T, straight after the show, sent out a tweet distancing himself from it, saying that his words said exactly, "The corny ass tech dude fuck with my screens. I speak for myself and all of you. I know how to make my statements. Dissing anybody on screen isn't part of my show. Otherwise, great festival."
Yeah.
So, you know, even though we've still got this beef going on, or whether it's over or not, no one really knows. He is sort of taking the high road here and saying that, like, while he can diss someone in a song, he's not going to put their name up on a screen and trash them.
Yeah.
Hopefully the tech guy got fired for that, if that is true, because
that just creates problems, doesn't it? Like, we thought the beef was squashed in it.
I mean, we heard stuff of 6ix9ine, Tekashi 6ix9ine, and Kanye and Nicki Minaj being shot at for their music set this week as well. So, you know, we don't need problems like that in music. We already had one person get killed this year, and we don't need more. Like, at the end of the day, it's music. If you don't like each other, fair enough. You diss each other, take it as a diss in music, but don't start taking it further. Like,
I mean, we just had one person. We had quite a few people. Like, obviously, we got lower ones. Remember, like Jimmy Wappo and things like that as well. Like, we had like a few people now like die. Like, we just don't need that. Yeah, it's true. You're right.
We've lost a lot of good people in the music industry over the years through gun violence or violence in general. Not mentioning people that have passed not through to violence, but just those alone through violence. There's been a lot of good artists that have gone and possibly gone too soon because of that, and they are missed in the industry. And it's weird to think what the industry would be if they were here now.
Exactly. That is definitely very true. I think that's everything. That's everything that we got on our show notes. Yeah, we just again another big thank you for to Podbean to give us giving us a little platform. It's been a massive help to us. As always, massive thanks to Dash Radio for broadcasting us every Thursday, also every Tuesday on the rerun. You know, we're on everything. We're on Spotify, YouTube, Podbean, Spreaker, iHeartRadio. We're on everything. iTunes. Just, you know, leaving us a review, a like on any of these platforms, anything just to show any type of support to us or anything like that. It will be such a massive help because we really need that in order to like boost us up. Like, we need reviews and things like that. It will get us into like higher spaces, like rankings and stuff. Like, we just want to bring our show to everyone. That's what we want to do. Yeah, that's about it really. This has been episode 19, which I can't believe we're on the big 20 next show. So
I just want to say a few more things. Obviously, we've mentioned before, we mention every episode, but we have our weekly playlist every week on Spotify and Apple Music. If you're new to the show and you haven't subscribed to that yet, then feel free to go and have a look at that. It's the 808s and Joysticks weekly playlist. And, if you prefer maybe some more in-depth discussions and this isn't for you, but you are listening for the first time, then follow us on social media and keep an eye out for something that will be coming very soon. We are discussing it and we're looking to get something sorted very soon. A little bit more in-depth discussion on just one topic rather than a few, as like a side show to this. So if you are interested in that, stay tuned on social media, on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, and we'll give you some updates on there. Anything else that you have to say?
Nah, man. Yeah, that's everything, man. Episode 19. Thank you guys very much.
Spider-Man does whatever a spider can. Spins a web any size, catches thieves just like flies. Look out, here comes the Spider-Man. Is he strong? Listen, bud, he's got radioactive blood. Can he swing from a thread? Take a look overhead. Hey there goes the Spider-Man. In the chill of night, at the scene of a crime, like a streak of light, he arrives just.
If you liked any of the music in today's show, then please check the credits in the description to see what songs we used.
Welcome fame, he's ignored. Action is his reward to him. Life is a great big bang. Wherever there's a hang, you'll find the Spider-Man.